Hey guys, it's your girl Deanna Green, and we are on season 2 of Let's Be Raw. This is episode 9 and a very, very special episode. Of course, all of my episodes have been amazing, but this one right here, this woman that I have on that's going to be brave enough to tell her story for the first time live. That right there, I do not take that for granted at all. I told her off camera that I am so thankful for this opportunity. But today's topic is called My Life Uncuffed, her story of redemption, reinvention, and life after lockup. What happens when a woman walks out of prison, not just with a past, but with a purpose? This week on Let's Be Raw, we're sharing the powerful story of a woman who survived the system, reclaimed her voice, and is now writing a brand new chapter. And you all know I let my women introduce themselves because I'll never do justice for the type of woman that she is and also how she wants to be introduced to you, our LBR community. So would you please do us the honors and let everybody know who you are, not what you do?
Right. My name is Dorothy Richardson Triplett. I go by Dorothy Richardson now, which is my maiden name.
Okay.
I'm a mother of 2 children. I have a daughter, 31, that's a college graduate from UAPB. And I also have a son that's 23, and he's here in Houston with me.
Okay. All right. So before we get started, because this is going to be a conversation that's going to be deep. We know it's going to hit home to a lot of you out there. Hopefully you're leaning in. Make sure you subscribe, you like, you share, you comment. But before we get started, let's go ahead and toast to an amazing interview. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Okay. Cheers, sis. All right.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, that's good, right?
Yeah,
all right. We talking about some liquid courage that's going to be needed for this conversation.
Exactly.
So I want to jump right on in because first off, let me tell you all, I know Miss Dorothy. She is my amazing makeup artist. So every time you see this face laid to the gods, this is who makes sure that I'm always camera ready. She got me camera ready before I came on camera today. Even after knowing you as many years as I have, I didn't know this story. You touched on it briefly, but not enough that I knew how impactful it was for you. So I want you to first tell the audience, tell our people, how did you meet this woman at work, and what landed you behind bars?
I met Linda when I worked as the office manager for Washington Park, Illinois. I had been working with them for well over 20 years. Did 20 years with them. She came in as a treasurer, so she would actually be coming in as my boss and everything. So again, I worked up under her as the office manager, payroll clerk. And what landed me in prison to do 18 months in prison was I trusted her in what she had asked me to do, which ended up not being approved by the board. When you work for a municipality, anything that is done with regards to payroll or anything
monetary
has to be approved by the board, which the board consists of 6 board members, and then you have the mayor. And so those things have to be approved. And what it was that she had initially had me to do was not approved by the mayor, but I assumed that by her being my boss, that it was okay.
You trusted her.
I trusted her and stuff, but that's not how it ended up.
So when off camera we talked, when you were starting to share the story, the first encounter with this whole situation started with you were on the phone.
I was on the phone. I've always was the type of person that when I get to work or wherever I'm going, I'm always going to be early.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would always go in the office early. I had went in early, was on the phone talking to my electric company, and I was discussing my bill, trying to get an extension.
Mm-hmm.
Well, during that time that I was trying to get the extension, she had come in and overheard my conversation. And when I had got off the phone, she was like, "Well, what was that about?" I said, "I was trying to get an extension to pay my bill
Mm-hmm.
and everything." She asked me how much was the bill, and I told her that it was $548. And she was like, "Well, we can fix that. We can do it, and just go ahead on and write the check, and I'll sign it, and then what we'll do is we'll start taking the payments out of your check." And I asked, I said, "We could do that?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm the treasurer. I can do that."
So let's just pause here. So she tells you that the county can now pay your electric bill.
Not the county,
Okay, so
the municipality,
okay,
but it was that she had the authority to do it.
okay, but it
Mhm.
technically wasn't a municipality's bill. It
No,
was
it
your
was
bill.
my personal
Okay,
bill, my
okay,
home bill, my
okay.
bill for my house.
And so you were now going to write a check
Hmm.
out of the municipality's checkbook
Out of the
to
funds.
cover your personal bill.
Yes.
And then she was going to sign the check, which she did because
Yes.
she had signing authority.
Yes.
Okay. And then to pay it back, they would just start deducting from your paycheck.
Deducting
Okay.
it out of my check, and
Okay.
then we'll go from there.
I mean, I believe that too, especially if it's my supervisor saying that this is something that can be done. And I know that I'm paying it back. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's theft at
Like
that
I'm
point.
taking
Right.
it, you know what I'm saying?
Got
Because
it.
it's going to be coming out of my check. And
Mm.
with me being a payroll, I was going to be the one to set it up for it to come out of my
Got
check.
it. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's how it starts.
That's how it started.
Okay.
Hmm.
But that's not what landed you the 18 months, right?
No, what
Okay.
landed me in the 18 months is that this happened not per se just with me,
Mm-hmm.
but once she had gotten that, I guess she got comfortable
Mm-hmm.
enough to where she could come to me. Now that she knows that
You're indebted to her to
she
some
proved
degree.
this check
Mm-hmm.
for me to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Now she would come to me for me to make a check for her.
And so
And so
what would those checks be for?
those, I don't know what they were for. They was just the checks that I would make for her. She would just have me to put in the amount of what it was that she wanted, and then she would go and fill out the rest of them. Because back then we didn't do checks like through the system.
Right. You
We typed them up.
typed.
We hand
Okay.
typed them
Okay.
and everything. So we had a checkbook there. We had a ledger and everything. So we typed them in, and then I would just type in the number because I'm the payroll clerk. I do all the checks. So I would just type in what the number amount was, pay it out. I didn't even put the payout to.
Okay.
On
So
there.
you never even knew where this money was going. You were just putting in the dollar amount.
At the beginning.
Okay. Okay.
At the
Okay.
beginning,
Okay.
I didn't know where it was
Okay.
going. But later, as it continued to go on for years, then
Years.
Yes.
So were you also benefiting from this? Was she also now allowing you to write checks for your own personal stuff as well?
Yes.
So
What she I didn't mean to cut you
mm-hmm,
off, but what
that's
she
okay.
had did was she set it up. She had come to me
Mm-hmm.
and had told me that it was approved, that since I did so much work, because literally I did Linda's work.
Okay.
Linda was there, but
Mm-hmm.
I was the one that was doing all her work. Linda would come in and out.
I've been there, done that. Yeah.
She showed her face
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So I was really carrying the bulk of the whole office or what have you. So she would come in there and she'd be like, "Hey, Dorothy, I need you to make a check for this right here," and she'll give it to me, and I'll make it out or what have you. If I tell her, she's like, "You need something? Are you running low or something like that?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." So what it was, she said that it was going to be an extra income for me.
Okay. So now I'm assuming at this point there was no more of you paying it back because you were no longer now doing payroll deductions from your own paycheck in order to pay these so-called loans
No.
or advances.
And actually,
Okay.
when I talked to her about paying the money back. She told me don't worry about it
because she won't paying it back.
because she wasn't paying it back either.
Right.
So she said not to worry about it.
So even during that time frame, this is one of these real raw and authentic moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind was,
and let's be real raw and authentic, right?
I'm being raw. I was like, it ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it wasn't right.
Why'd you continue?
Because I pretty much got greedy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at. I think at the end of the day, this isn't about judgment, because I want you to make sure that you know that this is a truly safe space, right? There is no judgment, none of that. But in order for your healing and in order for someone else to either be able to forgive themselves for something similar, or a young woman or a young man or anybody out there that could possibly be thinking about going down this same road, they need to also be able to tap into what's happening, what kind of emotions are happening, why are it, especially if you knew, because you led with, I knew it wasn't right. But then, okay, why did we continue?
Again, I got greedy. I got used to getting the extra money. To be honest, I thought with my check being included into the payroll and everything, like I would get my regular check with all the other city workers, and then she had it set up to where I would get a check on the first with the board, the trustees, her, and any other what do we call them, dignitary.
Okay.
Any other dignitary, they all got paid on the 1st. We got paid on the 15th and the 30th. So I was getting I started getting 3 checks instead of my regular 2 checks.
Okay. So the extra one was at the first of the month.
Was at the first of the month.
And she was doing it that way because it was a way to be able to obviously get around the fact that you shouldn't have 2 checks on the 15th.
Because the mayor and herself were the ones to look over the checks, and then we had another trustee that sat on the financial board that would go over them too. But here we go again. We got people that don't do their jobs. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy for it to slide. It was easy for it to slide through. Basically, the community that I come from, the only time you really saw the board members was on the first, when it was time for them to come and get their check.
Wow.
So it was so easy for it to just go through. And like I said, we had did this for so long that, I had just become accustomed
and you got
to doing it, and didn't think anything of it, because of the simple fact that it's my boss that is doing this. You know what I'm saying?
And you feel like if she's doing it, she's going to naturally protect herself.
She knows what she's doing.
Knows what she's doing, and she's not going to jeopardize her career and her livelihood. So you're assuming that the same applies to you.
Yes. But what I didn't know was that this is a woman that had been through several municipalities throughout the metropolitan area in Illinois, and that the feds had been watching her from a previous job that she had, but they could not catch her. And then they got tell of it when she came to Washington Park, because before she came to Washington Park, everything that we did was on point. Nothing was never off, because I was doing it because of the lady that trained me.
Because you said you had been with them for 20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long history.
And the lady that trained me, you know what I'm saying, she showed me how to do things and how to make sure that I was on point with everything. So I never, ever had a problem with none of the finances, never took a dime from the city until I made that mistake of allowing Linda to get into my head and let me do that $548 check.
How old were you during this time?
I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s.
You feel you were very impressionable at that time?
Not really.
No. So you went into it truly knowing what you were doing.
No, I didn't. I wanted to always impress. Well,
that's impressionable. You were impressionable.
I always wanted to like show them that I could do the job. Honestly, when Linda first came to the municipality, I was mad
Mm.
because I had been doing the work for so long, and then
You got passed over.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
We've all been there, guys. How many of you, especially working in corporate America, where you've been, busting your behind and trying to prove to upper management that you have the skills, you have the knowledge, you've been doing the work, you're showing up early, you're being
yeah,
this dutiful employee, and then someone else comes in and takes a position that you feel is rightfully yours.
yeah,
Sit in that, sis. Like, that's real.
yeah,
Like, that's another reason why I got out of corporate America, because I was tired of doing exactly what I just said and what you did. And my situation was, it was always a white woman. It was all they recycled. I was in property management, and no matter, I was on every board you could be a part of, the legislative committee, the education. I was part of the apartment association. Like, I was putting myself out there. I had the numbers, I had all of that. But for whatever reason in that industry, they just like, especially when I started wanting to be a regional manager or a regional vice president, they wanted to recycle the same white women over and over and over again. And so I know exactly how you feel in that
yeah.
moment. And you still come to work smiling and
I
acting
still
like, and
can.
then you got this new boss. And of course, now it's a woman. And what's Linda's race?
She's black.
Black.
She's African American.
Right. So, and I figured that, but I leaned to the, now is one of our sisters. So we want to trust you even more at this point, right?
And not only that, I trusted her because she was the first lady of a church. And
Mm.
I just didn't think that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think that my life was going to end up that way.
Right.
My mama always taught us right from wrong.
Yeah.
She always taught
Yeah.
us to be honest
Mhm.
and be straightforward
Mhm.
and everything. And I honestly thought Linda was my friend.
All right, let's fast forward a little bit. Now we're in the thick of it. Like, money is being exchanged. Y'all got a routine, I'm assuming, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's getting comfortable because the years are progressing.
Mm-hmm.
How many years did it go on?
This went on for 4 years.
4 years. Okay, so now skip ahead 4 years and take us to you're caught.
We're caught on, I don't exactly remember the date that they came, but I know I was in the office. Linda wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you deal in rural areas like our area, um, everything always comes down on the black community or whatever. So they it was always something going on.
Mm-hmm.
So for the feds to show up at the city hall was maybe about a trustee
Mm-hmm.
or maybe about something else that was going on. I never thought that they was coming for us.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Because you
saying?
like there was just something else happening, because
Right,
that's kind of the
because
norm or
we
whatever.
had people like we get like a lot of grants,
Mm-hmm.
we get TIF stuff, so we had people that were over different other programs that had got caught stealing monies or whatever from like the TIF program and things like that there, and they had to come to get records, and so when they would come, we would think that they're just coming to get records, but this time they
They
coming
coming
for
to get
me.
you.
They coming to get me.
Wow. Okay, so you're at work, sort
I'm
of thinking it's a regular day
I'm thinking it's
in the office.
in the office. I'm thinking
Okay.
it's a regular day. I'm sitting there, and they was like, we see the. Well, I didn't see the cars because my office was in the back,
Okay.
next to the mayor's office.
Mm-hmm.
So they out there, and then when one of the officers, the feds came in, and they had asked for Linda, but Linda wasn't there. I don't know if Linda caught wind or what
Oh,
was
okay, because
going
I was gonna
on.
say, was this like Linda's just off that day, or no? She was supposed to be there.
Yeah,
Okay, got
but she wasn't there, and so when they came, one of the girls, Kim, was like, Miss Richardson, it's some officers up here and they want to talk to you. So they came in and then they came to the back and we sat down and then they asked for Linda. I told them she hasn't come in yet
Mm-hmm.
or what have you. And then they went on to say what they were there for and what they needed, the records and everything. And so I had given them the records and all that stuff like that. And when they sat down and talked to me, it was like, what the hell?
Okay, so first they got you at this table. They're talking about records and everything. Do you at this point? Do you know that they're
At this point,
no?
I'm still not thinking that it's about me.
You're thinking that just just some regular records that they need. So
That
they
they
have you
needed.
go and get these
I
records.
went and got the
How
records.
far were they for the 4 years that you talked about, like the time
No,
frame?
they needed them for the last 6 years.
Okay.
They went beyond the 4.
Okay.
And they went for the last 6 years or what have you. So we went and pulled up the records and all that stuff and put the stuff on the table, and they sat down. They didn't arrest me.
Mm-mm.
They did not arrest me that day.
But did they tell you that
They told me that day
you are under investigation?
that I was under investigation, that there was going to be an indictment coming down, and that they would be getting back in touch with me after they got through gathering up all of their information.
Okay, so let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
What were the emotions? What was going through your head? Because you went on camera to say, I'm at this point, because this is right now, today's date is 25 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? You had children at that time. Can you remember like what you were feeling, what you were thinking during that? Empty.
Like, what have you done?
Uh-huh.
What have you done? And the mayor and I, Jap, we were very close, and he came because they had already talked to him.
So he already knew.
He already knew that they were coming, and they had talked to him, and he came and he told me. He used to always call me Heavy. That was his nickname for me. He was like, Heavy, you're gonna have to get you a lawyer. At that point, I was just numb because
you're 20-something years old.
I never had been in trouble, not even a traffic ticket, and now I'm sitting here finna go through a federal investigation.
Yeah, not even state, feds. That's a whole different level.
So they already knew everything that they needed to know, and they just needed to just come and get the records and then make it official that I was going to be indicted.
So you couldn't. It wasn't a matter of do you want to confess or anything like that. You were guilty.
I was guilty. I was guilty. I honestly, like I said, when Linda and I had a discussion, Linda told me that it was approved by the board. It wasn't approved by the board. It was approved by her. Not even Jap, the mayor, knew what was going on, because they thought he had something to do with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they at this point, because again, the buck is supposed to stop with him. So now he hasn't, in their eyes, in the citizens' eyes, everybody's eyes, you weren't doing your job either, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, because it wasn't a check and balance.
No,
there was no check and balance, because he as well trusted her, because she was such a good person at what it was that she did.
Well, you said that this lends to when certain people in the church use that power of influence, and you gave her a lot of credibility without even doing your own checks and balances, because she was the lady of the church,
first lady of
the church.
Yeah.
Why do we do that? Why do we just automatically give certain people passes? Because here's the thing. We give her a pass, but somebody like you that has a past, made a mistake, we don't give you a pass. We automatically prejudge you that if you did it but one time before, you'll do it again. But just because this person happens to sit on the front pew, be married to the pastor, they get a pass.
And I think that's because we were conditioned as coming up as knowing that the people in church, they're trustworthy,
they're honest.
You know what I'm saying, and just by
they can quote every scripture in the Bible.
Right. She was that person that can do that. You know what I'm saying? And well dressed. I mean, always was presentable. It just would never give you. Never would give you the energy of being a deceitful person. She would never give you that.
Well, you know that's also how the devil tricks everybody too, right?
Yeah, I know now.
You know now.
I know now.
Yeah. Okay, so they're telling you this. We don't need a confession, Dorothy. You're guilty, and it's just a matter of time for this indictment to come down.
Actually, I got a lawyer.
Okay.
because this is the first time I'm going
Right.
through something like
Right.
this. So I
Right.
got a lawyer so that I can know and understand the litigation
Mm-hmm.
of what's about to happen with me, so that I don't get a lot of time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I could have been gone away from my children a very, very long
Mm-hmm.
time, because the prosecuting attorney that was on the case, he wanted her so bad that he was really pushing.
Yeah. And
But
you were getting caught up in the
I
whole
got caught up.
wildfire of
I
it.
got
Mm-hmm.
caught up, and the crazy thing about it is that the prosecuting attorney for them on the day of my sentencing and everything, he spoke on my behalf, and he said that it was just unfortunate that that
You were
I was
co-conspirator.
I was a co-conspirator in
Mm-hmm.
this crime,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a job to do. And he actually told the judge that, he would recommend that I get probation, but it was still left up to the judge
To the judge.
to do it.
So courtroom day, and the judge is now going to sentence you and everything. Take us there.
Everybody before we got to court was saying, Dorothy, you need to pack the courtroom. You need to pack the courtroom.
Mm-hmm. With family,
With family,
friends, support.
friends, support, everything. And I was like, okay, everybody, because I was the type of person, when I worked at City Hall, I helped people.
Mm-hmm.
If you came in there and your lights was off and you needed an occupancy permit, if I can get that occupancy permit to get your lights back on for you and your family and your kids, I do it. I didn't give people a hard time. And even when I go home today, people see me in my community. They be like, Miss Dorothy, we wish you was still there. We wish you was still there, because I believe in just helping people. I didn't do people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I never did.
You don't do people wrong now.
I
Either.
don't. I don't do people wrong.
Mm-mm.
And the day of the courtroom, I had my family there, all my friends, the mayor, everybody
Mm-hmm.
was there. And I stood there. And this judge that I had, when I tell you, he was hard. He was super hard. He looked at that courtroom and he told me, he was like, he took in everybody's that spoke. He took in what it was that they said under consideration of what they said. But he told me, he said, I see that you have a lot of people that support you. And so I know that your kids will be well taken care of.
And when he said that, I can only imagine what you were thinking, what's coming next.
And he said that, I just fell back in the chair. And I just had to just catch my breath, because I knew then that I was going to leave my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to leave them.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that I had to go. But that was like, that just took something from me.
How old were they?
Khadijah was 14 and Caleb was 7.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids had to sit there and listen to this. I mean, to them, I was everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't spoil them, even with the money that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't spoil them. I made them work for what they wanted. And that was probably the hardest thing that I had to endure. It's just knowing that I don't know what these next 18 months gonna be like, because I ain't never been to jail.
Right.
You know,
During that time, was it a possibility that you could have gotten more and then they reduced it, or was it always just what the judge said it was going to be 18 months?
Had the prosecuting attorney felt like I was a co-conspirator, that I was the one that I was a co-conspirator.
Right.
And had he felt like I was the one that was
Initiating and all,
initiating,
mm-hmm.
I could have. He would have asked for more
Mm-hmm.
on me, but they checked my record.
Mm-hmm.
They knew I've been to college, never been in trouble. I was clean.
Mm-hmm.
Even the years that I worked there in payroll, nothing never came up. But this is a woman that they had been tracking, and nobody knew this. She didn't even know it. She just happened to come from another municipality and get her way over into this municipality, and she just kept jumping those hurdles, and that's the reason why I didn't get the time that she got.
How much time did she get?
She got 5 years.
Okay.
And I got 18 months.
You got 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, that was heavy. We're going to take a break because I wanted first the audience to be able to get the backstory. But as we talked about, there's salvation and there's redemption on the other side, because the woman you were 25 years ago is not the woman that's sitting here on this couch with me, right?
No.
So we're going to lighten this up a little bit, guys. We know this was heavy, but this is what the show is about. It's about real women coming on and telling their story in the most authentic way. Even when it's still painful, even when it still feels like I'm ripping the Band-Aid back off and I thought the wound was healed, and it's not. Don't go anywhere. Continue to stay locked in. Make sure that you go ahead and comment. Let us know what you thought about the first part of this episode. We're going to take a quick break. We want to thank our sponsor, which is where we're actually shooting the podcast, at the Biz Lounge. It's located at 3660 Barker Cypress Road. Go to our website, schedule a tour, come check us out. All right, guys, we'll be right back. The Biz Lounge is redefining the concept of workspaces by incorporating state-of-the-art technology with ergonomic designs in a space to foster creativity and productivity.
It's not just a workspace. This is a dynamic ecosystem designed for growth, inspiration, and connection.
We'll see you at the Biz Lounge. Welcome back, guys, to Let's Be Raw. Today's episode is Life Uncuffed with Miss Dorothy, and I was calling it Triplett, so I'm glad you told me that. That is you back to your maiden name,
back
Richardson.
To my maiden name, Richardson. Yeah.
Richardson. Okay, all righty, great. Yeah. If you're just now tuning in, I encourage you to go back and watch the first part of this episode, because you will be hit definitely in your heart hearing this brave woman's story. And we're not done. We talked about being 20 something years old, working at a great job for 20 years, feeling like you're on the upward climb as far as corporate America is concerned. You got 2 beautiful children. Life to some degree is good. It's not that it's easy, but it's good. It's stable. Yeah. You have a routine and all of that. And happenstance, a woman comes in, someone that you trust, you believe, you're looking up to her. She's your superior. And she convinces you that doing some things illegally are okay. Okay. And you believe it for 4 years.
I believed it. I honestly believed that it was okay. I honestly believed that at that time that everything was taken care of, that she knew what she was doing. I never thought once, to be honest with you, I didn't think what I was doing was wrong. Because I was doing the work. I always had and it just made just how the devil works with you when you know you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. Because I had already convinced myself, like, I'm really doing her job and my job. I'm just getting paid for it.
You were justifying the wrong.
Yeah.
You were justifying the wrong in your mind. But there's the other side of knowing that when you got hired with certain responsibilities and a certain pay that came with it. There was nothing in there that said, Dorothy, later on, you might get some extra bonuses if you do right.
Nothing.
Right. So that's a good point. And that's hard to sometimes, I know, admit to, is you also had the influence of what you desired, wanting a better life, having 2 kids, thinking that it's okay because I'm doing the work anyway. So why shouldn't I get paid for it?
Right.
Well, let's fast forward, because the other part of your story, which I feel is the most important part of your story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the redemption, the reinvention, and the forgiveness that I'm sure it's been taking you 25 years. I feel like I'm not sure if you've 100% forgiven yourself. And I'm hoping that you talking about this today will be another step to it. And the reason why I say it is because you're still very emotional about it, right? And if you just think about anything in our life, most of the time, think about when you get over heartache. What they say, I mean, once you stop crying about that man, you over that man,
over that man, right?
right? Once you
Right.
stop thinking about that situation and not giving it any fuel anymore and keeping that fire going, you truly have forgiven, forgotten, or you've moved on. You've healed from it. And because I really feel like if you would have told me it's 25 years ago, based on how you feeling right now and how you are expressing it, I would think it like you just walked out from behind the walls, right? And so that's why I just say, and I could be wrong, but I just feel like you got to forgive yourself.
I mean, I try. I mean, I honestly, I try, but
What's holding you back?
I think that honestly, I don't know.
Let me
Honestly,
pose
I
a
don't know.
question because I listened very closely to the beginning of the story. And I feel that at that point, to you, you also felt like you were at a high level in your life and in your career, right? And then all that got taken away. And knowing you and knowing how hard you work, even building your makeup business and everything, is it possible that you're not forgiving yourself because you're still stuck in that time
It's possible
of if I wouldn't have made that decision, where could my life be right now?
I say it all the time because I know the type of person that I was when I say that. I'm saying like the type of person that I was with helping people, the type of person that I was in my community, and I just feel like the choices that I made back then hindered me from being where I'm really supposed to be.
And that's why you won't forgive yourself. But you got to, because it's 25 years later, right?
But I'm still.
It's like you still handcuffing yourself. They let you out the doors, baby girl. You gone. The handcuffs are off. Everybody done forgot about it. Are you this situation? Everybody's life done moved on. And you still stuck in 2009.
Because I find myself always fighting, fighting to prove who I am, who I am. Fighting it seems like I always got to start from the bottom over.
Okay.
And I'm 56 now. You know what I'm saying? And makeup has become like my savior because it's where I get my peace. But I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing more. And I just beat myself up because I'd be like, I know I would be somewhere in Congress had I not fucked up.
That's real.
I know me. And I know my drive. And I know what I bring. And I just feel like I honestly feel like I talk to God all the time, sis. I do. And I know that He put me there for a reason. And I know it was because I was beginning to get out of control because I had started using drugs. And the drugs, the money was helping me be a functional drug user. You know? It's like people Nobody knew. Nobody knew
Mm-hmm.
because I can hold a meeting. I can I can do whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but still be up under the influence.
What type of drugs were
Cocaine.
they? Cocaine.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a minute to kind of gather those thoughts, because that's another revelation, right? That's another being
And I know
transparent.
God know. And I prayed every night that I was locked up. I prayed. I was like, God, I know you did this to me to see how strong I am and to show me who's really in charge.
I don't think he was trying to show you how strong you are. I think you are that your strength was already there by the fact that you were strong enough to keep doing what you were doing, between the drugs, showing up for work, still being able to be a provider for your children, still showing up for the community. It was never a matter of your strength. He needed to show you your weaknesses. And in your weaknesses and all of our weaknesses is where I feel that's where we find God. It's not the strength. Because when we strong, we honestly don't think we need anybody. Let's just be real. It's a lot of times, even for myself, when life is good and everything's going great, I honestly start finding myself praying less. I find myself not, reading my Bible as much as I did, getting on my Monday night prayer calls from one of the ladies. She sends it to me every Monday religiously. Hey sis, it's 7:15, prayer call at 8. And when life is good and I got multiple things happening, all of a sudden it's 8:30. Dang on, I meant to get on that call, right?
Right.
But when stuff is not going right, Lord knows I call his name so much, he probably can't hear nobody else's voice because
Right.
I'm screaming it. That's what we do. But there's times when he says, I'm not going to wait to get your attention. I want your attention right now. And the only way I'm going to do it is possibly by saving yourself from you. And that's what he did.
I believe that.
Because you wouldn't have stopped.
I think it was
You
getting
wouldn't
out of
have.
control.
You would not have. The more the years went on, the more confidence that came along with it. The bigger the checks, I'm assuming, got, right?
They did.
Yeah. The more the usage happened. At some point, you were going to hit a brick wall going 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It was inevitable. It wasn't if, it was when. And he's decided, I'm not going to let that happen to you.
Yeah.
Because what if it could have been permanently you gone and you left your children behind?
Yeah. I think about that.
Have you come to reconcile with God why you feel that he put you there? And do you feel that God has forgiven you?
I do not know he has forgiven me because he's a forgiving God.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray every day.
And if you are a believer and you believe that God doesn't make any mistakes, right? Nothing happens by coincidence, right? It was divine intervention, however you want to rationalize it out. But if you truly are a believer, then you also, one, got to forgive yourself if you feel that he's forgiven you truly, right? But number two, you also got to give some credibility to, you may be exactly where he wanted you to be.
Yeah.
And what you might see as struggle and starting all over again, and I keep having to prove this and prove that, that may not be how he's looking at your life and what he had planned for you. You got a second chance.
I do.
You got a second chance. You have two grown children. I could tell when you said it, the first thing after you said your daughter's name, college graduate.
Yeah.
Something that you didn't get to finish and do. But even through your trials and tribulations, your daughter did.
Yeah.
That's part of your history. And she may have, I'm curious to know, because y'all know I talk about this, about mothers and daughters having conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And knowing each other's story.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a conversation with Khadijah just about this right here and the experience? I'd be curious to know that if Khadijah's drive and determination and getting that college degree has a direct correlation to your life story, to her knowing that mama really wanted her education. She really wanted her college degree.
She knew that I really wanted to do that, and she knew that Khadijah knew. I spoke to her. I told her what was going on. I told her that I was going to need her to help her granny with her brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Kayla didn't know
Right.
what was going on. For all Kayla knew is that I had a job out of town and I was going to be gone for a minute, but he'll get to talk to me at least 2 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried not to call as much because when you're on the inside and you constantly talking to your family and stuff on the outside, it only makes your time slower. And it really hurts you to have to hang that phone up because you only get 15 minutes. And so I didn't
And
want
how
to
do you
talk to
catch
you.
up with your children
I can't.
in
I
15
can't.
minutes?
I can't.
Even 2 times a week. How do you catch up with them in
You
15
can't.
minutes? Yeah.
You can't. So I tried to avoid as many calls as possible, only called when I needed to call
Mm-hmm.
because I really tried to isolate the outside world
Mm-hmm.
from what I was dealing with when I
Mm-hmm.
was locked up.
Well, as I said off camera, number one, we are going to bring her back on for another episode, mainly because I think it's imperative, not only important, that we also really talk about those 18 months. This interview has been so amazing. I haven't even gone to any of my questions. Like, we haven't done any questions, honey.
Oh my God.
And this is what I love about having women like you on that are willing to share and be authentic. It allows me to pivot, because sometimes the questions they sound great and they're well thought out, but they may not go along with the flow of the interview. And so as we're talking, I'm like, okay, these questions, they're not appropriate right now to ask. But they are now, because I want to change the tone a little bit, because I certainly want you to leave from this episode, one, a little lighter, right? A little more forgiving of yourself. And I want you to feel good about, I finally started to break my silence. I know it is not going to be the last time. And I want whoever's watching this episode to know that there's a journey in healing. It doesn't happen overnight. And I want them to be waiting, like, breathlessly for your next episode. So let's talk about some questions, kind of lighten it up. What was the moment that made you realize life behind bars didn't define who you were, but who you would become?
When I would get up and know that it's a routine that I had to get adjusted to, and I knew that this wasn't the life for me. And I knew that the way that we were treated and everything in there, talked to, looked down on, and the way I had to walk through there and just know that people was judging me, I knew that wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that once I went out that door, that there was no way that I'm coming back, and I'm going to show you that I'm not going to come back, because now I know what it is that I need to do and what I want to do and what I have to stay away from.
I love it. I love it. How did incarceration affect your identity as a woman, emotionally, spiritually, and physically?
Emotionally, it made me emotionally, it made me feel like I was worthless.
Mm. Mm.
Like I didn't exist. I was just a number.
Mm.
Spiritually, it brought me closer to God. It forced me to read that Bible. It forced me to think. It forced me to just gather my thoughts and know that I had to have a plan when I came up out of there. And I had to stick to it.
Mm.
And the last one was physically, I knew that I had to get myself in shape because the fight was going to be tough. And I knew that if I didn't get my health together, that I was going to be in a depressional stage. And I didn't want to be like that. So I knew I had to work on myself.
Did you feel like you were going through warfare?
I did. I really did. I felt every day was a
Because you
fight.
fighting with all three of those, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
Yeah. Because you have, every day is a fight.
It's not a battle. You in war.
It's a fight. And you it's the survival of the fittest.
Yeah. And
you got to be on your game. Or else you'll get easily pulled in because like I say, it's a whole nother world. It's new laws, it's new rules, and nothing that you do in there has anything to do with what's in the free world.
Yeah. Yeah. What were the biggest challenges you faced once you came home, and how did you begin to rebuild a life from scratch? And that's two parts because that's heavy. What were the biggest challenges you faced once you came home? Start there.
When I came home, the biggest challenge I had to face was going back into the community that I cheated.
Yeah, because it's not like they brought you to Texas. At that time, you didn't just stay in Texas. You went back home.
I went home.
A small town where everybody know everybody.
And now I got to go to the grocery store, and she the woman that stole that money from City Hall.
Because it's in the news, I'm assuming, like everybody knows.
It was everything. I even made the Ricky Smiley show.
No,
I was like, dang.
You made the Ricky Smiley show.
The morning talk about Ricky Smiley. They talked about me on there, and it was horrible.
So that's not the type of headlines you were looking for.
No. Going home was people knew that during election times that I was a go-getter, that I get the votes, that I can go and people are gonna trust and listen to me to who I tell them, like, look, this is who I'm supporting, this is what I want to do. But every time I turn around and if I try to help somebody, my name is back up in the newspaper. Oh, she's helping this person. How can y'all believe her? She's a person that stole $173,000 and you know.
So was that I didn't ask that beforehand. That was the dollar amount that, as far as the indictment was concerned.
173,000.
Okay. Do you think that was more or less?
I think it was less.
Okay.
I think it was less, but they always gonna go with the highest number. And I honestly, I think that was including my salary along with what the extra was. So they put it all together.
Okay. And how did you begin to rebuild a life from scratch?
I got the hell out of Washington Park.
That part.
I moved because my daughter was already gone to college, and it was just me and Kalo, and then my brother, my mom, and my other siblings had already moved to Texas.
Okay.
I didn't want to come to Texas because I was locked up in Texas.
So that brought back a whole set of memories.
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with Texas, but I wanted to be with my family and everything like that. And then with Kalo being so young, I didn't want Kalo to always have to hear. I didn't want him to grow up defending me because I was supposed to protect him. And I didn't want him to be hearing or reading in the paper, because he didn't know
Mm-hmm.
what
He's
was
still
going
thinking
on.
Mama just went on an
Went
extended
on,
vacation.
yeah, he didn't know,
Okay.
and so I didn't want him to end up having to fight his way through school, because he got to protect me. Because every time an election came around, I had people knocking at my door. D, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? Can you get your people in this precinct to do this? You know what I'm saying? And then when I do it, even if I try to do it quietly, somebody find out, and all it took is one person to find out that's on the opposition, and I'm back in the paper. They never let me rest from it. So that was my decision, to give Kalo a better life, and not let him come up where we came up at, and just give him something new to do.
And how long ago was that?
I've been here in Houston now for like 10, 11 years now.
Okay.
I've been here.
Okay. Okay. Whew, child. Hold on a second. Let's see what else we had. I just didn't know any, every time I come, I just have to say this. Like every time I come over there to get my makeup done at your house, the music is going, the vibe is always right. Like it's never heavy. Yeah. It's never heavy when I come over there. It's like, I don't know, it just seems so airy and, light and like you loving life, you happy and everything. And again, it goes back to how it's so easy for us to mask everything, right? And we just, as women, and I think me more profound women of color, we just know how to show up. Like it's time to, put on a different hat and keep that smile going and be strong for everybody else. And we just do it so effortlessly, even when it's to our detriment.
Yeah. Houston was my new beginning. It was where I said I was going to put everything behind me, and do things right. It took me a minute to get it, because when I first got here, I didn't go nowhere. I didn't do nothing. I was just, I had my house and everything, and take Kalo to school and go back home. But I'm a people person. I'm a person that likes to interact with people and stuff, and just being at home was just too much. So I had decided to go back to work. And so I had applied for a job through Cypher ISD, and I was afraid.
Yeah, that's
because every time you apply for something, you got to do a background check. And
I'm just curious, with that type of charge and crime, is that a lifelong kind of conviction? It stays on your record. It never ever leaves.
It never leaves. But I talked to the guy when I applied for the job to work for Cypher ISD. It was called Club Rewind, before and after school program. And I talked to the guy, and what was his name? It's a Spanish guy. Anywho, he was over the department, and I went to him and I told him, I said, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I have a background, and I said, is that going to be a problem? He told me as long as my background didn't have anything to do with children, he would overlook that and everything, because he says everybody got to start somewhere. And that right there really, really touched me, that this man is willing to give me a chance, and not look at me like other people would probably look at me
and
as a
judge you from your
criminal.
past.
You know what I'm saying? And so he did that, and I got the job, and I went back to work. And that was my beginning, my breakthrough, to know that I'm not going to no longer let the title of being a felon stop me from striving to do what it is that I want to do.
Well, I feel that right there is a great way to end this first episode. But before I do that, I do want you to look into the camera, Dorothy. And if there was, what message do you have for other women who are walking out of the prison gate or might be about to walk into them, scared but determined to take their second chance? what message do you have for anybody out there that's coming out or might be getting ready to go in?
Coming out, I want you to know that it's going to be hard, but it can be done. There are going to be changes, but you can overcome them, and just believe in yourself. The past is just what it is, the past. And look towards the future and push hard at doing it. Going in, I want you to know that too is going to be challenging. But just know that you are there to do your time and your time only.
Mm.
Don't get caught up in all the things that go on behind the wall, because it is so easy. Because those laws supersede any laws outside of that wall. And just know that for whatever duration time that you have in there, you are no longer who you are. You become the property of whatever entity that you're in, whether it's state or federal. And know that you can get through that, because I'm working on it.
Mm. Mm. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Whew. How you feel?
I feel good
Okay.
that I was able to sit down and it's like a brick that has been lifted.
Mm.
Because I tell people it's something to have to leave your children, your family, your loved ones. And it's easy to be manipulated, and it's easy to get in trouble. But it's hell getting out of it. And I'm glad that I opened up to you, because I came to you. And I said,
You did, because you was like, "Can I come on?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, well, hold on. What's the story, right?" Because that's the other thing about this, guys. I've had multiple women reach out to me to say that they want to come on the show, and this show is very near and dear to my heart because it's my passion, which is part of my purpose. So with that, I don't mess around with it, right? And so I'm interviewing women because I do want to hear the story. It's not to get in your business. It's for me to make sure, is your story impactful enough? Is it authentic? Because I've interviewed a couple women and I didn't feel that the story was authentic. I felt like this was a way for them to get on a platform, anybody's platform, right? Yeah. Let's Be Raw's platform podcast is not that. I need women like this that have been struggling with telling the truth, opening up, being authentic, letting the emotions override you, and doing it so in a way that you're not being selfish with holding on to it so that you can heal somebody else. I thank you for coming on and sharing it, because when she told me, I was like, "What? No, not Miss Sweet Old Miss Dorothy, no." But
Sweet Old Miss Dorothy, yeah.
It also says that no one is exempt.
No one.
Right? Everybody has a past. Everybody has a history. For some of us, we are fast walking from it. Some of us, we're doing a jog, and some of us, we are running for our life away from that past.
And even so, when you've been through something, as what I've been through, there are triggers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get me to take nothing.
Right. Say, don't even give me slimy that piece of bubble gum if it ain't been paid for.
No.
Right.
And I need a receipt.
Right. I love it.
I need a receipt.
Listen, the other thing she said is just make sure y'all know, y'all can't come try to run nothing past Miss Dorothy anymore, right? Them antennas is up.
It's up. The minute I detect it, I'm telling on you.
And she gonna snitch.
I'm telling. They said snitches get stitches, I will take them. because I'm not going back.
Yeah.
I'm not going back.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Let's Be Raw, where the stories are real, the women are authentic, and we are here to be of service to you, our community. Again, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Deanna Green. Like, share, comment. And if you are someone that is interested in being on a future episode, you can scan the code that you'll see after this video. It will allow you to put in your interest form with your contact information, and I'll reach out to you. Before we close out, let me tell you, on the next episode, we will have, oh, here it is, my vision, guys. This is part of being a real authentic woman, right? My vision is going. Next week episode is pretending to be rich. The power of saying, I need help, with Darvanique Hawthorne. So y'all lock in, stay tuned, and we'll be back next week. All right, guys, have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
Have you ever wondered how to keep up with the pace of our rapidly evolving world? How to seize the opportunities that are often fleeting in today's fast-paced lifestyle? Introducing Knock Knock, the digital solution designed to help you connect in even the most frenzied environments. Whether you find yourself in the midst of a bustling conference, navigating the chaos of an airport, or immersed in the vibrant city nightlife, Knock Knock empowers you to make connections seamlessly. With just a simple tap, you can integrate contacts instantly, ensuring no opportunity slips through your fingers. But Knock Knock isn't just about networking. It's about bridging the gap between your various brands. With Knock Knock, switching between your brands becomes as effortless as a single tap. No more navigating through endless web links or scanning QR codes. Knock Knock is the app that brings networking and e-commerce into the palm of your hand, making connections, making sales, and managing your brands effortless and instantaneous. Welcome to the revolution of technology and networking, brought to you by the Knight & Group Technologies division. With Knock Knock, the power to connect is just a tap away.